Alright, welcome back everybody. Turn 28 of Roots Bloody Roots. And let's to set the stage here, you might have been expecting a battle. Well, after I recorded the previous turn, me and Abyssia got into we were bantering back and forth basically and taunting, and the result is that we threw both of our armies at each other in a colossal battle. So let's go ahead and look at that. Oops. So that'll spoil the result, but let's see what happens here. So I brought my Coyote Shaman, he auto howls, we communion up, we bless up, and so all of our guys have our blessing, fire resistance, poison resistance, blood surge. On their side, they're about to do the same. So they've got the regen and blood bond. They've been Phoenix firing a lot with these salamanders, and they've got some of these baby elementals over here. Their prophet, he is their only holy 3 on the battlefield actually, which is interesting because if I can take him out, then that's gonna interfere with their bless quite a bit. I've got some arrows that won't do anything, but they're arrows. And now Foul Vapors is up, Natural Rain is up. So the rain is shutting off the heat aura. Foul Vapors is poisoning everybody, but not me because I have immunity, and things are looking great. So let's see where this all goes wrong. You see that they've summoned a bunch of fire elementals, which, as I alluded to earlier, I wasn't too worried about that. The fire elementals, they have minimal defense skill and no protection. And the ethereal would normally be an issue, except that I have 2 magic attacks. The fire shield would normally be an issue, but I'm fire resistant. So, not too worried about the fire elementals. Let's watch what's happening. You see the foul vapors kind of hitting random dudes from time to time. And if we watch this area here, I've got some mind burns going off. You see that every so often it'll hit a segment, and Foul Vapors does 5 armor negating poison damage. The thing is that with the Blood Bond, and this is the part that I didn't fully appreciate, with the Blood Bond, that 5 damage gets spread amongst everybody in the area and then negated. So Foul Vapors does not do the beating to the Sacreds I hoped it would. We see here, those guys are just regular archers, they're not going to do much. But now, when my Sacreds get up against the Fire Elemental, that goes pretty well for a Sacred. Got random spells flying back and forth. These guys are not doing very much, so that was kind of a positioning error. But my battle strategy was to basically gum up the works while Foul Vapors poisoned everybody. But if Foul Vapors doesn't poison everybody, then, well, consider the works not fully gummed up. Or for that matter, it just doesn't really end up mattering. Got some skill of heroes going off that's making my dudes have higher attack skill. I think one of these guys had the Blood Surge proc. Yeah, so he's got, this guy's about to die, but he's got attack skill 16, which, these Abyssians have, that's a bad example because he's got all sorts of affliction stuff. These Abyssians have poor defense skills, so I wasn't gonna worry about their defense too much. The Healing Rain is rusting equipment, which I like quite a bit, because that means that even if, as we see, this battle is not going to go the way I hoped. I've alluded to that already, but a lot of their equipment is going to be rusted, which means I can break down this protection, and if I break down the protection, then suddenly all of those, it's kind of a triple threat here. Regen, Blood Bond, and high protection. If one of those was to drop, then it wouldn't be as big an issue, because if it wasn't for the high protection, then you hit them pretty hard, and Blood Bond just means that they all get hit pretty hard. If it wasn't for the regen, then the foul vapors would whittle them down, and if it wasn't for the blood bond, then individual guys who are getting hit pretty hard would pretty much stay down. And so you see, my guys, the ones that aren't dead, are starting to run away. They've got these lava warriors that have come through along the side, and now they break through to all of my communion mages. The ones who were communion slaves, or communion masters, run away. The communion slaves are still chanting, and they end up dying. Foul vapor turned off because my Yaya has left the field. I think that was Ann Perkins. And then these remaining mages die. So, what's the score? Well, I killed a ton of Abyssian infantries, and I killed about between a third and a quarter of the sacreds. Permanent fire elementals, I'm not too worried about those, but I killed half of them. Fire drakes, similarly, I was never worried about these guys. The other big thing is that this bless that they have really relies on having massive numbers, because you need a large number of dudes to spread that blood bond with, basically. The other thing that really hurts is I lost 13 mages, and they lost 0. So all of their salamanders and their prophet are still ready to go. 13 mages is 1,300 gold. Fortunately for me, all my Yayas survived, my hero survived, my prophet survived, and basically all the communion masters survived. So it could have been worse for sure. And so with this, well, the question here is, okay, good job, Abyssia. I need to regroup and figure out what I'm going to do next. So I thought about it, and I was looking through the spell paths, basically, and seeing, okay, what can I do to actually counter this? Under Conjuration, I could try getting some water elementals. So where are those? Yeah, right here. I've already got the mini water elementals, but I could summon the big ones. That could help. Under Alteration, because these Abyssians are wearing heavy armor, I thought that Swarm might be an option. I can cast a lot of Swarm, and basically that'll do a better job of gumming up the battlefield, because for all of those guys that Abyssia has, they have to spend actual turns hitting them, and the fire elementals won't care about the Swarm, but the warriors will, and if I could tire them out, if I could space them out, then I can get the job done. Additionally, there's some good buffs in Alteration, so I can cast Luck, I can cast Body Ethereal, and Alteration 5 gives me another option to pursue, which is Bone Melter. So it's kind of like, at least if I understand it right, it's kind of like Gifts from Heaven. Area Effect 1, everybody there dies, magic resistance negates. So ideally, I can communion up a bit. It doesn't cost a lot of fatigue, and just bone melt all of them. That's probably what I should have been doing from the beginning. But I've learned something. Wooden Warriors is obviously useless. Iron Warriors is something to consider. I do have some Earth 2 access. So then Evocation. Evocation, unfortunately, a lot of these things I might want to do have cross paths on them. Flaming Meteor is kind of funny. I can actually just drop meteors that do 50 blunt damage, which that should take out Abyssians even through the regen blood bond protection nonsense. So that's an option to consider. It does have the nice thing that I only need one fire gem to Phoenix Pyre and then just spam the hell out of this. So that's an option to consider. Obviously, the heat shock, they don't care about that at all. Um, Falling Thrust, quite good. Unfortunately, it's not armor negating or anything, so it won't work against these guys. Stellar Cascade's got a massive nuke, so it won't do much. Astral Geyser, it's kind of fun. I can basically fuck with their army so that then they get sick upon by horrors later, but eh. Astral Fires, this is kind of cool. Area effect 3, armor negating 10 damage, but again, it's just with the fact that the damage is split out. Like if I'm hitting someone, I need to hit them really hard so that even when half of it is taken off the top by the Blood Bond, it still gets the job done. And construction, there's nothing that's going to help me here. Ice Golems are cool, but it's not really a good option. Enchantment, I've already got Enchantment 5. I do want to double check here and make sure that there's not something cool that I could have been doing that I missed. Summer Rain. I think that this only lasts for one cycle, basically. Okay, so it gives Reinvigoration 2 for everybody, which is cool, don't get me wrong. I might work that into my script. Astral Shield. The thing is, the Astral Shield only applies to Communion Slaves. I can't put it on my troops. Beast-Hide Warriors, I don't have the paths for that. I mean, I kind of do, but I don't think that they'll be the most helpful. Skill of Heroes, that unfortunately only gives attack skill, and my dudes were already hitting, it's just a matter of that those hits weren't lethal. If I could give plus strength, but I don't have enough earth for Legions of Steel. Where do I? Legions of Steel, or I said Legion of Steel, I meant Strength of Giants, you know what I'm talking about. I do have Earth Meld as an option. And Abyssians are not actually that strong. So maybe Earth Meld needs to be on the table. Okay. Where is Strength of Giants? The Maws of the Earth. This would be a nice thing to pull off. It has a big enough range that the armor piercingness of it, like, it won't actually hurt them that bad, but it'll hurt enough of them, and it'll break up their formation, which means that the Blood Bond will be less effective, because that's the other thing that I was considering. Let's look at Thaumaturgy. So Thaumaturgy, Rage, I don't actually know how well Rage works. It seems like a neat concept, but I mean, I don't think that it'll really do the job that I want. Paralyze, quite popular. It would be great for breaking up their formations. It always hits. It's a good option. Don't get me wrong. Prison of Fire. It's another option to try to break up the formation. It's kind of curious because, like, if they actually break out, they won't care about it. These are for my own dudes. Okay. And then looking at 5, Water Vortex, that's another break up the formation spell. It's kind of neat. It's something to consider, don't get me wrong, it's a cool effect. Soul Slay, that would get the job done right good. I like Soul Slay. And so, I mean, everyone likes Soul Slay. I'm going to finish off Conjuration because that gives me Light of the Northern Star, which unlocks a whole lot of astral potential. It gives me Fuel of Fire to keep my communion going. I've got more summon options, which might be helpful. So definitely going to finish that off. I'm already so close. But then the next option I was considering between Alteration, Thaumaturgy, and Evocation. For Alteration, I would want to get up to 4 immediately so I can try to fatigue him out with Swarm, and then 5 so that I can melt his bones. I can also cast Destruction, which, yeah, Destruction's very good. So Alteration has a lot of tools. You'll see that that's the one I end up deciding on. Evocation only has the one tool, really. I just kind of skipped past Cold Bolt, but it just doesn't do enough damage. It's not... It's stopped by armor is the thing. Starfires, it's funny. Like, it's straight damage that you can't prevent, that just adds up, but you need to have a crap ton of mages casting it. And all my mages just died. Then we got Flaming Meteor. Flaming Meteor would do the job, don't get me wrong. And depending on how long this battle goes, I'll probably switch to Evocation and grab Flaming Meteor, because that's a good option to have on the table. But I'm going to hold off on that for now. And Thaumaturgy would be for Paralyze, followed by Soulslay. So it was basically between Alteration and Thaumaturgy. I went with Alteration. Alteration has spells, like a large variety of things that I can bring to bear. I like the Swarm Fatigue plan. I like the idea of Body Ethereal to make my dudes hold up more in the front line. I like destroying his armor. I really like Liquid Warriors. Bone Melters. That's what I'm looking for. Bone Melter. I mean, Liquid Warriors is here too, but that's a buff for my guys. So, to get Alteration, I'm going to need 59 research points in Conjuration, then 190, and then another 300. So that's 490 plus 59 is 544 research points. So I'm going to be focusing pretty hard on research. He's not gonna break this castle down in one turn if he chooses to go there. I'll just have one guy patrolling in case he has an assassin there. Let's send some of these other patrollers out to random places. If I can pick up a scout or something, then that could be useful. Yeah. And that'll be the plan. Summon some Horned Serpents. I think that they're a great summon for me. And these guys, they don't have a lot of research points. In contrast, my god, she's just going to be sitting here researching because that's 45 research points, and I need the tech. Everyone else is still researching, except that every Yaya that's available I'm going to need to have ready to come to the front. Yeah. These guys are still searching for a turn. I should be able to smuggle them into the castle if necessary. And, I mean, I do still have to invest in my future somewhat. This guy, he's going to cast Destruction. He's going to spam the hell out of it. So he needs to be there. Let's go ahead and spread these out some more. Alright, we'll have this Palisade up next turn, which doesn't actually help me in terms of recruitment. But, I mean, more Palisades are always good. And we're bringing folks to the southwest. Searching for more magic sites, since I left this province behind earlier. And this is, I mean, this will get every path but air and blood. Especially hoping to find more earth sites, because I'm going to need more earth gems in the not too distant future. Alright. So, definitely a setback. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Losing all those mages was hurtful. I did hit a decent number of sacreds. I hit a lot of siege chaff. I'm not out of this by any means. Just going to have to regroup and come up with another strategy. which is not what I was expecting, but it's, I mean, I didn't want it to be too easy, now did I? Let's go ahead and look at how these guys are moving out again. I'm actually going to move him here and have him bring these guys with him. So this will be a way for me to basically, and you can move and patrol. How do you do that? Can I not move and patrol? Okay. I don't know what controls whether you can move and patrol, or if I'm just not getting the key right for it. Regardless, go ahead and regroup and be ready for the second act, as it were. Let's see. Troop formation wise, I still got this guy, so he can lead all my troops. He can fire his arrows. That's very good. Magic items. I built the Dwarven hammer, so I should hammer something. What do I want to hammer? And with whom? I guess that's a good question, is are there any items that can help me out? Let's start with my god. It would be kind of, it's not my ideal for me to use my god to hammer some stuff, but if that's the way to do it, that's the way to do it. I like the Amulet of Health as mentioned previously, but it won't help right now. The Wall Shaker, well, if I was on offense I would love it, but right now I am on defense. Afford some temporary fire gems, which are good, don't get me wrong. This is a nice regen item. I like it quite a bit. She doesn't have enough air gems to make an air helmet. Fascinating lights. That's funny. Now, if I had a good thug to put this eye shield on, that'd be good, because that's another way to kind of get back to the Abyssinians. Vine shield, always popular. This helps animals, but I don't have the animals except for my howl summons. Burn of sword. This is fun. Another thug item. This dude just walks up and cuts people's legs off. That's interesting. An attack 10 means that he'll hit. I just need someone... Okay, so that's another reason the Holy Fire won't help me. I need to just double check these items. Fireball, no good. This one's a fun berserky thing, but I don't care about that right now. This one can take them out one at a time. False feathers. This is an interesting one. It's inexpensive and it's kind of comparable to a Frostbrand, which I can make Frostbrands because it does an AoE incapacitate thing. It's not as good as Frostbrand because Frostbrand actually kills dudes, but it's an option. And then the Berserker. So some great options here. That said, right now I'm going to focus on my research. It's another reason to go into Alteration Bow, because, and I hadn't even thought of that until I was just talking out loud. So, what was the other thing that was in Alteration that, you'll have to excuse me, you might be already thinking of it. Oh, this is fun too. No effectiveness living beings though, so not fun for me. This one cripples a ton of dudes, which is nice for at least stopping an army from chasing after you. I can't remember. My mind has left me. Sorry, guys. I think it's an alteration, but I can't remember what I was thinking about, so we'll just have to come back to that. Regardless, got options. Gonna regroup. Gonna come back stronger than ever. It'll be great. There's also kind of a nice side effect of he's got all of his troops here. If he moves them off of there to attack into my lands, he's leaving his temple up for grabs. So he's got to consider that because that's a 400 gold investment. So we're going to see where this goes. He's definitely going to get to do some raiding, and he'll probably be pretty happy about that. But I am not out of it by any means. I'm going to keep fighting. So, it's been real. See you next turn.